If you have the dream to build your own custom rifles or want to take your rifle gunsmithing to the next level, you need to go to the Extreme Accuracy Institute. Gavin Yu here from UltimateReloader.com. It was about 3 years ago I took Gordy Gritter's 6-day precision rifle building class at the Extreme Accuracy Institute, and let me tell you, it was mind-blowing. It has helped me take my precision rifle building to the next level. And in this video, I want to talk to you about what the class is, what's covered, and why you should take a look at taking this class. But first, a brief bio on Gordy. Gordy has been building world record-setting rifles for a long time. He's chambered thousands of rifles and equipped a lot of people for success in their shooting sports, everything from bench rest to PRS, and so on and so forth. And he's constantly evolving his techniques and his process. And this class really represents a unique opportunity to watch someone do their craft, and for this person, Gordy, to explain everything, the supplies, the theory, the processes, the tooling, all of it. And you get to see it happen right in front of your eyes. It's a group setting. The group of guys that I met there, I've stayed in contact with. It was really great. So it's actually a networking opportunity as well. And it's just so great to be able to expedite your skills, to fast track your rifle build quality, and to just really learn from a true industry expert how to do this thing, building and accurizing custom rifles. So what you do is you sign up online, go to extremeaccuracyinstitute.com, you pay for the class. You're going to go down for 6 days of intense training, and kind of what I want to do is break down day by day what I experienced and what I saw and what I learned. So the class is based around bolt action precision rifles, Remington 700 platform used as an example. In day one, Gordy starts with background information. He has this really cool diagram that he uses that's an interactive diagram. He can move around the parts of a bolt action receiver and bolt to show you firsthand the different factors that are going to affect accuracy. It's really interesting. You can see in the diagram here how when the trigger is cocked, it's pushing up on the back of the bolt, and that actually on a traditional Remington 700 changes your bolt lug to bolt seat contact. So his visuals and his teaching style is very hands-on, very interactive, and for me, it helped me understand what it is that we were about to do. So the rifle accuracy factors, what are all of the different things that can affect how accurately a rifle shoots? Evaluating actions for these accuracy factors, dialing in a receiver in your lathe, and this is in preparation for blueprinting. Blueprinting part 1, some of the first procedures. And epoxy sleeving. This is an interesting thing that Gordy himself has developed. Basically, if you have excessive clearance between your bolt and the receiver, you can take up that excess tolerance and that excess slack to make it function more tightly and for everything to be in perfect alignment. And he shows you these techniques firsthand. Day 2, the finishing of the epoxy sleeving. After everything is cured overnight, there's some machining on the bolt, 2 halves, basically like a split bushing that come together that get epoxied in place. That gets machined. Dialing in the bolt, blueprinting part 2, which is doing the various operations, truing the bolt face, machining the bolt lugs, things like that to get it perfectly trued up. Lapping the lugs, that's a nice final process to both validate what kind of lug to lug seat contact that you have, and then also to improve that and put that finishing touch on it. Magazine feed issues and how to troubleshoot those and how to resolve some of those. That's actually a really important thing. Bolt timing and ignition. Then on day 3, lathe setup, getting the lathe ready for a chambering job. All about reamers. This is a really important thing. When you get into things like you've got a 5-flute reamer and you've got a 6-land barrel blank, what do you do there? There's special considerations around chatter, and Gordy has some really awesome tricks that he's developed to help resolve some of those issues that will come up in the chambering process when some of those issues are encountered. Dialing in the bore and the actual chambering process. For me, this is true magic. I think chambering reamers and the chambering process is just absolutely fascinating. It's kind of like magic in a way. Day 4, the chambering process continued to the finish for that. Custom throating and necking. So sometimes you use 3 different reamers, one for basically the body, one for the neck to dial in the perfect amount of space for depending on the caliber and the neck thickness and all that, so you have a nice tight fit. And then throating, sometimes even for a specific bullet, so you have optimal jump and bullet seating depth and the load considerations, putting all of those factors together into an equation and optimizing that equation. And then also custom die making. That's the other part of the process. If you want perfectly concentric ammunition and you're in a bench rest type accuracy envelope, you really need to take into account potentially a custom seating die from a blank. And that's just going to help improve your ammunition. And with the high quality custom rifle like what you'll be able to build after taking this class, that's going to make your results even better. Day 5, complete rifle evaluation, measuring headspace, pillar bedding, part 1. And that includes making the pillars. Advanced scope mounting. So I've actually done this. I epoxy bedded a scope tube to the rings, and that really worked out quite well. And so you can check for how good is the fit between the tube and the rings using a light coating of oil. Gordy goes through that whole process. I've actually covered some of that here on my channel. And then how to do the actual epoxy bedding process so that your scope rings and your scope tube fit perfectly and there's no stress on the scope. Just like when a receiver fires, the shock wave goes through it, any kind of tension there is going to result in barrel fluctuation. You don't want the same thing happening in your scope. You want that tube to be resting perfectly, and under recoil it's not going to deflect, that kind of thing. And so that's part 1. Day 6 is kind of the wrap-up day. Pillar bedding, part 2. Advanced scope mounting, part 2. Again, this is going to be an overnight cure for the epoxy and products that are setting up at the end of the first day. Bore scoping barrels, hand lapping barrels. This is actually a really important thing. If your bore diameter fluctuates, you're going to get a pinch point on the bullet and you're going to get a wider point. The fit between the bullet and the bore is not optimal, and that will affect your accuracy. So without going to a custom barrel, or if you have a barrel that's just slightly out of spec, you can fine tune that. It's just one more way that you can pick up extra accuracy. And then trigger systems and triggers. So I know that's a lot of information to take in. There's actually a lot more there. I basically streamlined each of the agendas for each of these days down into a digestible format so that we could cover it in this video. There's a lot of information. It's taught by a world-renowned expert. Gordy's a great guy to get to know. He'll be a part of your professional network. You'll have access to him after the class. And he just thrives on doing a good job and helping people and empowering people to achieve their dreams. And that's really what's happened for me. I had the dream of building my own custom rifles. I started to do it for myself, and now I'm moving towards rifles.ultimatereloader.com, doing this for other people and expanding this into something great. So go to extremeaccuracyinstitute.com, check out the classes. If you have specific thoughts, if you've taken the class, please drop a comment and share with us what your experience was like. If you have questions for Gordy, go ahead and drop a comment, or on extremeaccuracyinstitute.com you can find his contact information and reach out to him directly. Thank you for watching this video. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications, because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later, because I'm off to go shooting.